I'm Angela Morabito with Campus Reform, and Congressman Matt Rosendale of Montana is here with me today to answer 5 big questions. Congressman Rosendale has written a letter signed by 38 other GOP representatives asking the U.S. Olympic Committee to get tough on Team USA athletes who stage a political protest at the Tokyo Games. Congressman Rosendale, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Angela. It's good to be with you.
So in this letter, you write that it's an honor and a privilege to represent the United States of America at the Olympic Games, and that athletes shouldn't be using this global event as a platform to bash this country. And this letter you sent to the United States Olympic Committee asking them to enforce Article 50 of the Olympic Charter, which governs all of the athletes at all of the games. What action are you hoping the U.S. Olympic Committee will take here?
I'm hoping that by sending a letter from 40 members of Congress that the Olympic Committee considers that and says this is a serious issue. People are looking, and that actually when people watch the Olympic Games, what they want to see are the athletes from across the world competing against each other. And we are hoping that they leave all of their religious, racial, and political ideas and arguments at the door. That's what their rules call for, and all we're doing is asking them to enforce their own rules.
And so many of these athletes are actually very closely tied to college campuses. ESPN just came out and said 75% of the athletes on Team USA are either current or former college athletes. Do you see a connection between what's happening on campus and what may be about to happen in Tokyo?
Oh, absolutely. We have seen the liberal tilt for universities across our nation for several decades now, and it has become worse. There's no doubt about it. And if the local school districts and the parents do not become involved, and if the alumni does not become involved in making sure that these universities actually teach true, accurate history, make sure that the students understand civics, make sure that they understand our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence and all of the opportunity that our country has provided them, we're going to have more problems in the future.
It seems like every time there's one of these athletes who decides to protest America on the world stage, somebody like Gwen Berry turns her back during the podium, during the anthem. Someone like Chelsea Wolfe, that BMX rider, says she wants to win in Tokyo just so she can burn the American flag in front of these international cameras. There's always a backlash, and they always claim the same thing. They say it's free speech. I have my First Amendment rights to speak out, whether people like it or not. What would you say to that?
I just disagree with that. There's no one who supports the First Amendment more so than me and the entire Bill of Rights and our Constitution. That's why I'm serving in Congress. But when you agree to participate in any sporting event whatsoever, there are rules, and you have to abide by those rules. And the Olympic Committee themselves set that out. If they want to participate just as a world athlete, and they're not utilizing the platform of the United States as Team USA, then they absolutely can go and make whatever type of proclamations or demonstrations and distribute propaganda that they would like to. But when they sign up to be an Olympic athlete, again, Rule 50 states that they will leave religious, racial, and political demonstrations and propaganda at the door. They won't be allowed at any sites or venues. Just follow the rules. That's all. We want to watch Americans compete against the rest of the world. We think that they're going to do better. As many people know, over the last couple of weeks, there was a poll that was released that said Montana is the most patriotic state in the nation. We want to see our athletes do well.
I'd like to call your attention to a poll, this time not from Montana, but from right next door. It came from North Dakota State University, and it seems to show that there are going to be more protesting athletes in the future, not less, if the campus climate is any indication. They asked students about their political leanings, and more than half of liberal students said they were not proud to be an American, and more than 80% of those same liberal students said that college had really helped shape their political views. So this is a problem that's growing. What do you think needs to be done to fix this?
Well, first of all, it's very disappointing. America has lifted more people out of poverty and oppression than any other country on earth, and we have asked nothing in return for it. And our founders sacrificed everything in most cases in order to make sure that we can provide this free society for these people to be able to even demonstrate like that. And over the several past decades, we have seen the university system tilt very hard to the left, and it is up to the people that fund these very systems, these very universities, to start having more influence and conversations with the foundations that they are sending that money to. Because if they don't, then they're going to continue, the universities will continue to share this liberal rhetoric and basically use it as a tool to heavily influence or just flat out brainwash our children to think that America is not great. We have we had some problems and difficulties? Absolutely. And you should not erase our history. We should learn from our history, and we have made great strides and improved every single day. But this is the land of opportunity. This is the beacon of freedom. And when we see other nations around the world that are trying to seek and find and establish that freedom, the first thing they do is wave an American flag.
It's remarkable. It reminds me so much of what we're seeing in Cuba and what we've seen in Hong Kong in the past. You make a great point about the role of university leaders. So I would like to ask, what's your advice to them? You know, so many of them are running these huge athletic departments. It's almost like the minor leagues. College sports is a huge industry. If you were running a college or university, would you require your athletes to stand for the national anthem?
I would. When I was a young man, I raised and lowered the flag every single day for our middle school for 4 years. And it was a privilege and an honor for me to go out every day, raise that flag out into the community for them to see it, and then bring it down in the afternoon before the sun set. And I think that our universities and the people that are the leaders within those universities need to start spreading that same type of pride and patriotism and sharing it with the students. It always comes from leadership. And if you set that tone, then by golly, and are able to share the information, true, accurate information about our country and about what we've done, then I am certain that the students will carry that forward.
American pride matters so much. We're excited to cheer on Team USA in Tokyo here coming up. Congressman Matt Rosendale, thank you so much for joining us.